Hello, how are you doing? How are you doing? One of my favourite songs, ACDC, Back in Black. Who hasn't heard this song on one of a million films? Okay, Iron Man, oh, anyway, too many to mention. But you know what? Everybody, young and old, know this riff, and the moment you play it to somebody, they say, I want to learn that, I want to learn that, I want to learn that. Now I know there are probably 100 other million guys teaching you how to do this, but this is me teaching it to you, so hopefully if you like the channel then you'll like this. Now I'm going into a couple of Fender Super Champs with a bit of distortion going in from my trusty Boss ME70, which I use in the studio. Not live so much, I've got a separate pedal board for that. I'm using my Fender Tele. Originally it was through a Marshall plexiglass with a Gibson SG, probably at about 160 decibels. But you know what, if you've got a good distortion pedal and a good clean sounding amp, and you put something in the front of it which sounds dirty, sometimes it's a better sound than if you've got an amp which you turn on to a dirty sound. Now, if you can probably see these Marshalls either side of me, and I'm not endorsed by Marshall, by the way, they just happen to be. But these babies, you get an instant Marshall sound. I mean, you can't help but get the big sound. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. I've had a couple of coffees, so I'm talking a lot this morning. Right, so again, I'm going to assume that you know a few chords, guys. I'm not. You know, if anybody out there feels that I need to go into a bit more detail, then please let me know. If not, I'm just going to assume that you know your basic chords, you know, your E's, E minors, E7s, and so on and so forth throughout, you know, the A, B, C, D, E, F, G sort of things, and you know your bar chords, and you've got good dexterity. If not, have a look at my previous video about finger exercises, and that will get you up to speed really quickly. Right, so the beginning. You'll notice that there's a to count you in, okay? So the first chord is a nice big E. Nice big E, all the notes. Second chord is a D. Now I normally bring my thumb over the top, which gives you a G flat in the bass. Now I know the bass, actually underneath it all, plays a... which is a bit, it sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? E, G flat, D flat. But when you put it all together, that's the tonal variation that you get. However, we're just a guitar player, so we're not just a guitar player, we're the guitar player. So we're going to be playing E. Let's just play a D, and then we play a nice big A. Now, typically when you play an A as a rock guy, you'll be bringing your first finger and covering the D, G and B strings. Now you can't help but cover the E string down the bottom as well, but you've got to be careful that you don't hit it, because you get an A6, which basically is that chord that the Beatles used to use at the end of all their songs before they did their bow. So D, 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 A. Now you want to do a lovely little pull off. So third fret on the bottom E string, same thing on the B string, and a very quick bend on the G string second fret. So now sometimes when I get lazy, well not lazy, but I want to make it sound a little bit different, I may do, because that note there, that's the blue note when you're in the key of E. That's your B flat. Yeah, it's the one that makes it sound a little bit uncomfortable. So again, you could do it one of two different ways, or you can do it. So I find with younger people who haven't developed their bending technique too well, and it is a very quick little phrase we're playing, I would normally just say to them, just to play 2, hammer onto 3, and come back off again. But if you're somebody that's been playing for a while, then you can do the proper. Okay, so the beginning of the song is E, D, 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 A, A, A. Then you got the riff. D, E, D, A. Now, I'm going to show you the proper way to play this next phrase, which I'll play at speed. Now I'll slow that down for you. 2 on the A. Now I use first finger and little finger. To me, this is the only thing that you can do. Now, I'm just going to put a caveat here. Some guys play it, which sounds okay, but it's not the way that Angus Young plays it. Because I've seen him live playing it, so I know this is the way he does it. So again, 2 on A, 4 on E, 2 on A, 5 on E, 2 on A, 6 on E, 2 on A, 7 on E. Now you can obviously, unless you've got very big hands, which I haven't unfortunately, you can be playing this. I mean, I can just about do it, but that's a horrible stretch. So again, Angus Young and his brother Malcolm, they've got tiny little hands as well. So they slide along. Sounds great as well. So let me just play that whole section for you, which is the intro and the verse. Okay, now you've got the chorus coming up, which is a lovely little chorus. Now I'm going to play it to you at speed, then I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so what we've got here is we play an A chord. Again, you know, first finger over the D, G and B, and we're playing from the A string. I just bring that up one to play an E power chord, so playing an A power chord, A5 essentially, which is just the A string, D string and G string. If you do any more than that, you get that sort of the third note in the scale, which I call the cheesy note, and it makes a chord sound less rocky and more sort of pop, so I don't put that in. So we just do that, A, 5, E5, again, E string, A string and D string. Then what I do is I just bring my little finger over to cover the D and the G on the 4th fret. So I do it, and you put it on and put it off. Now you might say to yourself, well, hold on, what's that chord you play when you take your finger off? I guess it's an A with a B in the bass. That's the sort of feeling we get with it. So again. Now the next chord I play is a G, and I typically live, I'll just put my little finger on the 3rd fret on the B and the G. I'll then play a D sus2 chord, which is just 2 on G, 3 on B. And then again, I play, it's an A, like an A5 chord, but I only ever play the D and the G string. I keep it quite tight, and I do this little thing as well. I mean, if you're capable of doing it, where I put a bit of vibrato on a chord. Sounds great, you know. I mean, I'm going into my personal preference of how to play things again. So to repeat that phrase again, G, D, A, and then really it's a G when you open it. phrase again. Big G. Now, this particular G, I've just picked up myself. It's a G5. It's a great chord. I mean, I don't know if Angus plays it this way, but I play it like a bar chord G, using my thumb to cover the root note, but I take off, and this is the important thing, my middle finger. And what that gives you is it takes out the third note in the scale, and you just get lovely root notes and fifth notes. One of my favourite chords actually. It's a powerful G chord. So this is the part where Brian Johnson does the back in black, well I'm, and then a D, back in black. Then you're back into the verse again. Now, after the second chorus, there's a lovely, lovely part, which is, well, I'll play it to you. Okay, and played at speed is. You're back into the chorus again. Now, it's sort of based a little bit on the phrase that we used before, but you want to be playing a D and then a 4, 2. This is on the A string, so open D, 4, 2, 4, and then you want to play the 3rd fret on the E. Then we go back into a set 2 on A, back to 5 on E, back to 2 on A, 6 on E, 2 on A, 7 on B. And I find that if you do upstrokes to begin with, so I'm doing alternative picking here. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Sort of makes sense to me. We do the same phrase again, 1 string down. So starting on the G string. And then to end with, they do a sort of 2-bar little thing for nothing, which is a A, E. Well, actually, it's the beginning of the chorus, but they sort of push into it. So, well, look, it's been a quick little lesson. I don't want to sort of hammer on going into the tiny little details. Hopefully, I've given you enough to move you on to the next level. And like I said, I'll do the solo in another video. But this is just a nice, helpful thing to get you going midweek. Okay, so have a good week. Enjoy. Don't forget to do your finger exercises. info@guitarworks.org.uk. Guitarworks 1000 on Facebook. Guitarworks 1000 on YouTube. Alright, take care guys. See you soon. Bye.